I'm not really the kind of guy who does in-depth reviews for every single weapon in Destiny 2. I usually only do them when either a gun is brand spanking new and people want some insight as to how it works, or if I have a lot to say about it. And we're here today because man, do I have a lot to say about the Midnight Coup, both bad and good, mostly good. Let's not waste any time and dive right in. First we'll talk about PvE, then later we'll talk about PvP. Timestamp for that is right here, in case you're a Crucible bro and want to skip ahead. Starting with PvE, I'm almost overwhelmed at the amount of good role choices that the coup has available. We'll get into combinations, but if you're kind of a casual gamer who doesn't have a ton of time to play each week, great news for you. The sheer mathematical odds that you get a decent coup to drop an onslaught are good, like damn good. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Why don't we talk about a few key weapon perks on the coup that you should be looking out for when you farm. One I'm really close to getting addicted to is kinetic tremors. Sustained kinetic damage to a target emits a shockwave that damages any nearby targets. The number of shots it takes to activate the tremors will depend on the type of weapon. For hand cannons, it's 6, meaning if you hit one target with 6 shots in a row in a 3-second window, they'll emit 3 strong shockwaves that do heavy damage to both the target and anything nearby. Now, normally, most red bars are going to get killed before you can even hit them with 6 shots, but beefier enemies and most yellow bars will get banged up by kinetic tremors. I'm not saying you should go into a boss fight with the coup as your primary DPS weapon, but using coup to rough up annoying bullet sponge enemies in Legend Onslaught is incredibly satisfying, especially if your special weapon is something that maybe doesn't hit very hard and is more of a utility option. For example, a disorienting grenade launcher. A kinetic tremors Midnight Coup will really help close the gap in damaging thicker enemies. The shockwaves damaging nearby enemies is icing on the cake. It's a beautiful perk. Tremors has some fun interactions with 2 other weapon perks on the coup too. Sadly, one of them is not explosive payload. If you were hoping that payload split damage numbers would mean that you could activate tremors in 3 shots instead of 6, sadly that is not the case. But it does pair really well with attrition orbs in column 3. Dealing sustained damage creates an orb of power. Normally, the coup takes 10 landed shots to spawn an orb of power via attrition orbs. That can be against multiple targets, by the way. If you also have kinetic tremors though, the damage ticks from tremors count towards the 10 hits required to make an orb of power, meaning you'll very likely get attrition orbs to activate sooner if you're constantly proccing tremors. In short, it's a damn fun combo. Shoot to loot also pairs well with kinetic tremors though. Shooting an orb of power or an ammo brick will pick it up with shoot to loot, and if you're new to the game or just didn't know, the shockwaves from kinetic tremors will pick up orbs and ammo as if you'd shot them directly. In this clip, I'm using a hung jury with that combo because I don't have a coup that has that particular pairing yet, but it's one that you should definitely be on the lookout for. Next, why don't we talk about Firefly, which I shouldn't have to talk about for very long because most people know how good it is. Get a headshot kill, get a little solar explosion for quality AoE damage, then get a reload speed buff as a cherry on top. I can't really tell you how badly I want a Midnight Coup with both Firefly and kinetic tremors, even though they have no unique interactions together at all. I've gotten anywhere from 40 to 50 coups, but I haven't gotten that combo yet, but I do have it on a random hung jury though, and it is great. Firefly helps you rip through weak enemies with explosion AoE, and beefier enemies who are too thick to get one-tapped in the head, you just activate kinetic tremors on. It's the Swiss Army knife roll of PvE, and you should be on the lookout for that on the coup. While we're talking about Firefly, the AoE explosion from Firefly can proc One for All in just one shot, which is really awesome. One for All can also get procced the same way by explosive payload, even though the AoE effect is teenier. If enemies are bunched up together, you can activate it in one shot. By the way, because explosive payload is a straight up 15% damage increase in PvE, and that goes together with One for All's 35% damage buff, if you happen to have that roll, good lord, you're going to be hitting enemies really hard on the regular. Definitely one of the better rolls I've gotten overall. The only downside with One for All is that you have to keep reactivating the perk when the timer runs out. Then again, not really a huge problem considering the perk is easy to reproc. Other extra damage perk options I like are Rampage and Frenzy. Rampage has the higher damage ceiling, but Frenzy is easier to maintain. Honestly, both options are great. I've got a Firefly Rampage roll and a Firefly Frenzy roll. Both are solid and easy to use, and are you beginning to see the problem that we have here. So many damn good combinations that are easy to activate and perform really well together. Oh, by the way, I know Desperate Measures is also on the table, but I find Rampage easier to use in PvE, but more on Desperate Measures later when we talk about PvP. Where the hell was I? Right. Too many good perks on the table. Ironically, I'm going to say the only perk I don't want on the coup is the OG perk, which helped make it a beast when it first debuted, Outlaw. Now, I appreciate a good reload speed buff on the coup, but again, you get that with Firefly and with extra explosive fiery death on top. Anyway, I will give you a recap of the main PvE combos I like and that I think most people will enjoy, saving my top 2 rolls for last. But before we do that, I gotta give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Allow me to introduce you to the trifecta of testicular trimmers, the Lawnmower 3.0 Plus, the Lawnmower 4.0 Pro, and the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. For that baller on a budget, you got options for which trimmer best fits your needs. The Lawnmower 3.0 Plus is sophisticated and ergonomic. Never let it be said that smaller tools can't get the job done, wink wink. The rubber grip on the Lawnmower 3.0 gives it a good feel to hold, gives you better control and maneuverability. Trust me boys, the last thing you want to do is slip or drop something when you're trimming down there. The Lawnmower 4.0 Pro hits that next level of efficiency, up to 60 minutes of runtime on a single charge for the man in your life who really won the genetic lottery in the hairy department. You've also got a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock feature. No more accidental buzzing in your suitcase. That's a real thing. We've all watched Fight Club. Finally, you got your top-of-the-line piece, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Dual skin-safe blade heads now accompanied by an updated trimmer blade and interchangeable foil blade for enhanced performance. Them blades also got longer, wider, and rounded teeth that cut through hair with ease. No matter how much yard work you need to do, Manscaped has got the right tool for your level of weed whacking. Head on over to manscaped.com/falloutplays and get 20% off your order and free international shipping. Again, that is 20% off and free international shipping at manscaped.com/falloutplays, and thank you, Manscaped. All right, we back. A summary of PvE combos that I like and that you should be on the lookout for. Firefly and Rampage, Firefly and Frenzy, which might be the most easy to use trash killer roll, by the way. Firefly One for All, Shoot to Loot Kinetic Tremors, Attrition Orbs, and Kinetic Tremors. And finally, my personal top 2 for PvE, Explosive Payload One for All and Firefly Kinetic Tremors. Payload and One for All just for a hand cannon that hits really hard. Again, Payload gets 15% extra damage output in PvE, lets you activate One for All a tad easier, and then you get the damage buff from One for All on top of that. It is just quality damage for a primary weapon, and I really enjoy it. Then Firefly Kinetic Tremors. Again, I've seen the power on my hung jury roll, and damn do I want it on the coup. Firefly wipes out the trash, and Tremors roughs up the chunkier health bar enemies. Overall, on the PvE front, coup is an incredibly versatile, strong, and fun primary that is absolutely worth your time to grind. And on that note, why don't we do a quick rundown of the coup in PvP, where I have a bit of mixed feelings. I need to be clear, the coup is a good gun in PvP and has a lot going for it. It has 90 base aim assist, which not only is ridiculously high, but it means that you can hit 100 aim assist with just a targeting adjuster weapon mod and a kinetic targeting armor mod. It can also hit 100 aim assist with moving target, meaning you could use a different weapon mod and helmet mod. It has Zen Moment, which is now IMO a great neutral game weapon perk for any primary in PvP, and it has Explosive Payload, which helps you deal with damage drop-off a little bit better due to the explosive portion of the damage never changing. Desperate Measures is pretty good on the coup. Told you we'd come back to it. Here's how it works in a nutshell. If you get a weapon kill, you get 1 stack of extra damage, but if you get a grenade or melee kill, you get 2 stacks of extra damage. Even better, any kind of melee kill will work, even an uncharged one, and it works even if the coup is stowed when you get a melee kill. At 2 stacks of damage, again, which you can get from 2 kills or just a melee or nade kill, you'll be able to kill anybody with 2 headshots and 1 body shot as opposed to normally needing 3 headshots. At 3 stacks of damage, you can 1 headshot and 2 body shot kill anyone at 5 Brazil and below, which definitely won't happen very often, but is really fun to think about. Anyway, if that all sounds good to you, you should definitely try out the coup in PvP. But it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and full frontal nudity. One drawback to using the coup in PvP is that it just has a ton of competition. 2 options that immediately come to mind are Rose and the crafted Austringer. I haven't used the Austringer in a hot minute and gave it a whirl a few days ago. Good lord, that gun fucks. I'm mainly a 120 RPM guy these days. Hashtag Igneous Hammer Gang rise up, but the crafted Austringer does go hard and IMO feels really good compared to the Midnight Coup. Also, without a great roll, you're gonna feel the lack of range on the Coup big time. That being said, I do think that the weapon is gonna resonate with a lot of people. My buddy True Vanguard, for example, loves this thing in PvP. Again, it's got a lot of great things going for it, and I do like it a lot. There's just a lot of other good options out there that IMO feel equally good, if not better. And by the way, I hate that I have to even consider this, but Midnight Coup is a kinetic weapon, so if you want to go into comp or trials with it, that means you won't be able to use conditional finality. Again, hate that I have to think about it that way, but that gun is damn good in trials for a laundry list of reasons. However, if you're a Chad who doesn't rely on the god tier shotgun, then hey, you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, I really think that if you like hand cannons in PvP, you should try out the Coup. You may realize you prefer other options, or you could completely fall in love with it. On the PvE front though, I will repeat, the Coup is absolutely worth your time to farm no matter what. Reminder too that Bungie is upping the drop rates in Onslaught, which will make getting a good roll that much easier. If you have the gun, let me know what your current favorite roll is down in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.